Stephen C. Productions.
That's what I want to see, bro. Like that's my vision of how I want to see the future. I want to see people talking about what stocks they own. You know, how much stock they got in this company or that company or whatever like that. Like that should be that's the new flex.
What's up? What's up? Welcome to episode 5 of Talking from Experience. If you didn't know, you about to learn. My name is Steven and I am your host. Today I'll be talking with my friend Ryan Richard. I met Ryan the same way I meet a lot of my good friends, actually. He dated one of my cousins. But that's besides the point. Turns out, Ryan's been investing in the stock market for a couple years. And being that that's something that I've heard a lot of people can benefit from, I thought I'd share this conversation with you. We don't go too in-depth over the nuances and things like that, but I think it's a pretty good place to start. So let's get it. What makes a good investor?
I would say the number one quality of a good investor is a person with a lot of patience that can, buy a stock or whatever the investment is and have the patience to hold it through ups and downs. And don't be afraid not to follow the herd, I think a great investor doesn't follow the herd, So if everybody's piling the one thing, just because everybody's piling the one thing, they don't just jump into it because it's, the hot thing. Or worry about, nobody likes this stock, nobody likes this company, I'm not gonna buy it. Like they're independent minded. They do their own analysis, they have their own understanding, and they buy or don't buy what they choose to buy or not buy.
Okay, yeah, I've heard somebody give the advice, if you're gonna invest in something that you believe in.
Yeah.
Like something like a company that sells products you would buy or services that you would use. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. As long as you can you got to make sure it's a good business. Because, you don't want to, buy into something just because you like it and nobody else really likes it like that, the products or whatever. There's no demand for it. So it's a bad company, or the company's full of debt, or they don't make money, they're not profitable. You want to make sure. So it's two things. It's one, what you say. You want to make sure it's a company that you at least understand. You want to make sure, too, that it's a good business, that they're actually making money. There's a demand for their products or their services. And then if you happen to use it, that's even better because you are the expert.
Right.
If you big into like you were telling me earlier about the microphone, that company, because you really into those type of microphone, that company that makes those kind of microphones, you can explain better, to me what's great about this company because you use their products.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what exactly is a stock?
A stock is a piece of a business. When you buy a stock, see, most people think that a stock is a piece of paper or just a number, or just a little ticker symbol that moves around on a screen, on a TV screen, But no, a stock is you're buying a piece of a business. You're becoming the owner, part owner of a company. So, for example, if you buy stock in McDonald's, you are now a part owner of McDonald's.
So do I get like a reserved parking when I go to McDonald's?
Nah, I wish it was like that. I wish it was like that. But I do know somebody that I'm gonna say that it's guaranteed to actually work. But I do know somebody who has stock in like Walmart, and they actually told the people they had some issues with some products being delivered from Walmart, and they told the people at the company that I'm a shareholder. I own stock in Walmart, and they worked the situation out.
Wow.
So that's not guaranteed to always happen, but it can. It just depends. So yeah, you become like a part owner. Now, are you the controlling owner or no? You don't own the company outright, so you don't get any kind of like special perks or nothing like that. But you share in the profits. So financially, you benefit.
Okay, so how does one benefit financially? Like how do you go from your initial purchase of a portion of the company to making money off of it?
Okay, there's two ways. You can either, and it depends on the company, but you can either make money from appreciation, which means the price. Whatever you bought the stock for, as it goes up, your share goes up. Or also, what they call dividends. Dividends is a piece of the company's profits that they pay out to the shareholders, which is another name for a person who owns the stock. Some pay monthly and some pay quarterly, every 3 months. So you can get paid either through dividends or through stock appreciation.
So appreciation, does that depend on how long you've had it? How well the company's doing?
Well, it's a lot of factors. I mean, but it's pretty much, a stock moves. It's a marketplace. So it's moving based on how many people are buying compared to how many people are selling. If you got more buyers, then the price goes up. If you have more sellers, the price goes down. Now, people are going to buy and sell for different reasons. So if a company is doing really well, more than likely the market's going to realize that, and they're going to want to buy into that stock. And as they buy into the stock price goes up, meaning your share goes up. Okay,
so as if there's a appreciation happening and the price of the stock goes up, if you're a holder, if you're a shareholder, how does that affect the dividends? Do you make more?
No, the dividends are going to be set.
Okay.
Yeah, so a company's going to set, a certain percentage that they pay out, regardless of the stock price. If they pay a dividend, you got some companies don't pay a dividends. Because see, it's two different things, okay? Companies, they're in different phases. You got some companies that's in a growth phase, right? So what they do is, as they make money, they take the money and they reinvest the money back into the business to grow the business. That's mostly like your smaller companies, less established companies. They usually don't pay out a dividend. But then you have more like your more larger companies, more well-established, stable companies that's not really worried about growing too much. They'll take part of their profits and pay it out to the shareholders in the form of dividends. So it all depends on like what phase the company's in. And you got some companies that do both. They in the growth, like Apple, for example. Apple, Microsoft, they're big, huge established companies, but they still pay out a dividends. I mean, they're huge growing companies. They're still growing, Apple and Microsoft. Not at the rate they were before. It's a lot slower, but they're still growing companies, but they still pay out a dividend.
Okay, so when did you start investing in the stock market?
I started maybe 3 years ago. I'll say 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay, so you're a millionaire now?
Nah, I wish. I wish, man. Well, one day, one day. But it's a lot of factors that play into that. It's not just the market. I mean, the market can help you, but also how you budget your money, how you spend your money, savings and that kind of stuff. It plays into it. If you allocate your money correctly, you're gonna do pretty well.
So allocating just means putting your money in different businesses?
Well, I say like what you buy, what you spend your money on. Are you spending your money mostly on liabilities or assets? Are you spending your money mostly on things that, when I say liabilities, I mean things that cost you money, that lose you money? Or do you spend most of your money on assets, things that make you money? It's always a decision we make every single day.
Right.
We make that decision every single day. And some things are necessary. Some liabilities are necessary. Food don't make you money, but you got to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Your light bill don't make you money, but you have to eat. I mean, you have to have lights. But the latest, greatest gadget, or the happening fashion that's in style,
right.
Using Nike, for example. I'd rather have Nike shoes or Nike stock. Who's paying me? Who's costing me money? Or whatever company. But I'd rather have the latest, greatest iPhone that's not that much different from the last iPhone, or would I rather have Apple stock?
What comes to mind is something like people who collect trading cards,
mm-hmm.
like baseball cards, even like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Mm-hmm.
You can buy a pack for like $8, and it's like random assortment of cards, but within that, there might be a card that's worth $1,000 because it's an extremely rare card.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in every aspect of life, there's the option to buy assets or liabilities. And I think a lot of people need to refocus on and be more intentional about purchasing things that are assets. Like you said, they buy a pair of shoes that they're planning on wearing.
Yeah.
And they pay $300-$400 for it. And it's not like you can resell the shoe if you've worn it.
Exactly. They say a car, man. They say as soon as the car leaves the lot, when you drive it off the lot, the value goes down.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy to me when I think about it. How can you spend all this money on like Gucci and whatever Versace or these different brands? But I mean, if you're gonna buy Gucci, cool. But then invest in the company that owns Gucci.
Right. That's what I was thinking when you were talking about getting Nike.
Yeah.
You're like, would you rather have a pair of Nike shoes or own Nike stock? Like, well, if you have Nike stock, you might as well just get your Nike shoes from,
Yeah, exactly. It supports your business.
Almost like paying yourself.
Yeah, that's how I look at it. I just say support your business. If you love Xbox so much, cool, buy Xbox. But buy some Microsoft.
Yeah.
Buy when I own part of the company. When I be an owner, and you paying yourself. It's like just think about if you own the hamburger restaurant, for example, you probably won't be going to McDonald's. Why would you support the competition? You own your own hamburger restaurant, so
right.
You want to support your own business. Kind of the same thing. That's how I look at it. That's real flexing. Do think about it. You want to flex on somebody? You flex on somebody by going back to let's go to PlayStation.
Okay.
You got a PlayStation owned by Sony, right? Created by Sony, but at the same time you got Sony stock. That's real. That's what I want to see, bro. Like that's my vision of how I want to see the future. I want to see people talking about what stocks they own. How much stock they got in this company or that company or whatever like that. Like that should be that's the new flex.
Okay, so you want more people to start to be investors.
Yeah. And yeah, that's to me, that's the new flex. I want to hear rappers talk about it too. And then music.
Yeah.
I want to see dudes rapping about how much shares they have of this company or that company.
And that would be a really good avenue for to get people into it,
Yeah, using the music.
I think even I feel like even companies should start doing like ad campaigns for people to buy stock.
Yeah, that would be cool. So I never thought about that.
Like think about it.
Invest in us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that'd be really cool.
That'd be cool. Yeah. What
kind of effect do you think that would have on the market though if it's all of a sudden it's flooded by a bunch of newcomers?
Man, it could be good and bad.
The price would go up on everything.
Yeah, I think it would be good and bad. Then you have people in there who not in there for the right reasons. They trying to make a quick buck. So you have folks in the markets, buying stuff, selling stuff, buying stuff, selling stuff, and they will fool with prices. For those of us that want to buy and hold and be in it for the long term.
Well, I mean, I can imagine it might be good for the people who are in the long term.
Depends if people are, respecting the stock and holding the stock. But if everybody's dumping because they made 5% or 3%, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, what I'm thinking is more like if you just hold on to it, to your share, then you should be all right once everything levels out.
Depends. What if I want to sell at a certain time, but because everybody's dumping and selling because they don't understand, whatever. Now my price thing went down, so it just depends, I think the main thing is people need to get educated. Like start with that first. Get educated on the markets.
Right.
Kind of like what we're doing right now. Kind of get an understanding, a basic understanding. And, respect the markets. Don't treat it like a casino, a lottery ticket, understand what it is. It's a vehicle to help you to build generational wealth.
Generational wealth.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? For you, your children, you know, on down the line. Grandchildren, or if you don't have any kids, nieces, nephews, whoever, you know, whatever the next generation that you look out for, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the stock market is, you know, the best, is used best for that. Not just to benefit you, it benefits you, but at the same time, you holding it so you can benefit your, you know, your kids and the next generation.
I think that's a pretty relatively new way of thinking, actually. Like leaving something for the next generations. Like I feel like some people have been intentional about that, but I think the vast majority of people they're just barely hanging on right now for themselves, and they're not thinking about, you know, about my kids and grandkids.
Yeah, that's true, bro. Mo, I'm gonna tell you this, man. Most people are selfish, bro. They care more about their first name than they do their last name. You know, so it's all about, you know, me. They want to make sure that, you know, that they get them. You know, and they can. I don't want to say they don't care, but they don't think about. They're not conscious of, or some people just don't care really about having something to pass down. You know, to the like I say, their children, grandchildren, people that have your last name.
Mm-hmm.
I do what I do for my last name. I don't do what I do for my first name. You know, so not just stocks. I mean, anything, bro. Business. You know, whatever you into, whatever you're doing that's just generating, you know, income for yourself. You gotta keep the next generation in mind and have something for them. You know.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of what's been ingrained in us, though, especially like in today's culture where everything is self-serving. Like everything is, you know, how can this benefit me versus how is this going to benefit my predecessors? So I think it's not so much that people are selfish. You can look at it that way, but I think it's more we've been conditioned to not see the bigger picture. So it's like, well, what's right in front of you, that's what you need to take care of. You know, whatever that might mean for you in the future. For some reason, people don't like to think about that.
Nah, bro. I think, okay, you could say like a person may not be a selfish person, but they being selfish.
Right.
Like, for if you got $1,000, right? Let's say you have extra $1,000, and you choosing to take those $1,000, and you could put that money into something, into a business, put that money into stocks, put that money in the rest, but you choose to go on a vacation. That's selfish, because the vacation ain't not going to benefit the next generation. You know, I'm not saying people shouldn't take vacations. I'm just saying that, you know, when the opportunity presents itself, when that money could be used for that purpose of benefiting the next generation, but you choose to take that your only $1,000 you have left, and you choosing to use that money for your own, you know, enjoyment. That's selfish.
For instant gratification.
Yeah, that's selfish, bro, because that money could have been used. Like, you didn't spend that money, and the money's gone now. You done made Hilton Hotel rich. You done made Airbnb rich. You done made whatever restaurant you done went to.
Yeah,
or
Southwest.
Yeah, Southwest Airlines. You
Uber.
Yeah, you didn't increase all their you done made their families rich. You know? Mm-hmm. And you didn't. What about your kids?
You don't even own stock in the company.
Nope. You got no stock in the company. You ain't got nothing, man. And you just, you know, our decisions, you know, that we make on our spending, you either use that money to benefit or to cost. You know?
Yeah, it's crazy all the things you can invest. Like, aside from the stocks, I was hearing about people who invest in art.
Yeah.
You know, they what is it? I think Jay-Z has that song, "The Story of OJ."
Oh yeah.
I bought some artwork for $2 million.
Oh yeah.
2 years later, that's worth $4 million. 4 years later, that's worth $8 million. I can't wait to give this to my children.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
Man. Yeah.
So he ain't talking about for himself. And, people.
Yeah, oh, man. And people love to hate on that. People are like, oh, you stupid. You paid $2 million for a painting.
Oh, yeah, bro. People, dude, they don't understand, bro. A lot of people, I'm going to tell you, a lot of people hate rich people, bro. Like, they don't like anybody that's rich. And to me, that's like such a self-defeating type of attitude to have. I'm gonna study the rich. I want to learn from the rich. If I'm trying to be, if I want to be rich one day, you gotta study the people that's already there. So like, yeah, they'll hate, bro. They'll hate on people that's successful. They'll hate on people that's financially secure. And because they feel like, I guess they feel like they can't never do it.
Right. Yeah, I think that's the point that I was picking up on. There is it's a lot of self-doubt. They look at that and their first reaction is, it's like, oh, I can never have that, so I'm just gonna hate on it, or say like, oh, that's ill-gotten gains. That's they probably broke some laws, they screwed over some people.
Yeah.
Instead of like, I wonder what they did to get that.
To get there.
Because if someone else did it, it's possible.
Exactly. We all the same humans.
It might look different for you versus how they got their wealth, but it's attainable. I forgot what I was watching. I think it was some random video, and this guy says, he's like, he was exposed to the lifestyle of the rich, when he was in sports. And he said he was part of the team, but he was kind of like, he wasn't living at large yet.
Yeah.
But he was exposed to that world. He said he was out at dinner one time, and a fancy place, high end, and he's looking at the price of water. It's like, it's $15 for a glass of water here, And he looks over at the table next to him, and there's people ordering steak, there's people ordering lobster, there's people ordering like caviar, and he goes, and they weren't even looking at the price.
Yeah.
He said, I looked over at the person next to me. They were kind of in the same situation. He goes, what are we doing wrong?
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of being like, oh, like, look at that guy,
Yeah.
You look at yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are we doing wrong?
Exactly.
And he said, because it comes a point where money stops mattering. Like, it stops to become an issue. And it's like, you can afford to do all these things. I'm of the mentality that, the lifestyle you want should be the end game, and the money is just a means to achieve that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So he goes, like, there's some people that accumulate all this wealth, and they can go and buy a $400,000 car, because it's like, what is it to them? It's like, oh, the bank account, it says 11 point. Like, what's the difference between 11.8 and 11.4 million?
Yeah,
it's nothing.
Exactly. It doesn't matter.
It's nothing.
It's like 50 cents or $1,
Mm-hmm. And it's like, people are taught that is what wealth means. But to some people, they might not care about $400,000 cars. Some people, they just want some place to chill, some place to be able to do their thing. Maybe work on their hobbies and stuff like that. And that's it, It just so happens that person's hobby includes buying $400,000 cars. But they made sure that they were able to do that. And I think even Warren Buffett, he lives in a pretty modest house. Like, he doesn't own mansions. Like,
nah, bro. Warren Buffett,
he's a regular old house in a suburban neighborhood, probably.
Yeah, Warren Buffett lived in the same house he bought back in the 60s.
Wow.
It's the same house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was like, on the accident, they said, you don't own 3, 4, 5 houses.
Yeah.
He was like, he said, I don't want to be a landlord.
Yep.
I'm not trying to be a landlord.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I can't live in all of them at one time.
Yep.
It's all about just, like you said, being able to afford the type of lifestyle that you want to live. If you want to live a modest lifestyle, you can afford to do that.
And then to some people, it might appear that you're well off because they see you doing. They see you doing well. I feel like we need more of that.
What's that?
More of that, emphasizing people who live modestly, and they're happy.
Yeah.
Like we love to look at the people who are rich and live happy and think, oh yeah, they're happy because they're rich. And I feel like it's not emphasized enough on. We don't put enough emphasis on the people that live modestly and are very happy where they are.
Dude, I think having money just affords you to be more of the person that you want to be. So, like, for example, right? Let's say you're a charitable person. You like giving to charities or whatever. But if you don't have the money to do it, then how can you be charitable? But with the more money you have, the more charitable you can be. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it gives you the freedom to be the kind of person that you really want to be.
I always tell people, like if it was free to attend college, on my free time, that's where you would find me. You would find me on the campuses. You'd find me on like in the libraries. You know?
The study, right?
Yeah, learning stuff,
getting that knowledge, man.
Mm-hmm,
that's what it's all about.
Yeah, like I love to learn, but man, I'm not about to go into debt.
Nah.
So I can understand quantum physics better.
Yeah, exactly. Well, dude, now you got Google University now, YouTube University.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's something that I'm real big on. Like nowadays, you don't need it. Somebody told me like 70% of the jobs on the job market, they require a degree. You really don't need one. No. You can learn from doing the job. And it's like, I think companies are starting to pay attention to that. So more and more people, companies are hiring people without degrees. They're looking at their experience, you know. They're looking at
more about the experience.
Heck, even their approach towards wanting to do the job.
Yeah, most companies feel like if you got the right type of attitude, they can teach you the job.
Mm-hmm. That's part of the reason I think more and more companies are are being more lenient on people having degrees in that field. And especially because nowadays information is so prevalent on anything that you can learn how to start up your own business. You can learn how to manage a business, you know, everything just from watching videos, man.
Yeah, bro. I've learned so much more. Trust me, I am an A student at YouTube University.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the valedictorian of Google University. So I've learned so much just hitting up, you know, those sites, man, and just doing research.
Mm-hmm. And
then, you know, finding books and things like that and just, you know, just studying on my own. Like I did some college, you know, but it doesn't really benefit to nothing I'm doing right now.
That's one thing that I think about is like so many people that go to school and they spend up to 8 years getting a degree that by the time they graduate that job is no longer a thing, or the industry is crashing, you know.
Yeah.
How many people are accountants? How many people are like they study finances or like bookkeeping, but now there's software that can do that for you.
QuickBooks.
And instead of more companies, how about instead of paying somebody $15 an hour, you know, 40 hours a week, I'll pay the $200 a month.
Yeah.
For the QuickBooks.
Yeah, exactly, man. I mean, it's gonna get to that point. It's gonna get to the point where you go to a McDonald's drive-thru, you're gonna probably have a robot taking your order.
I wonder if QuickBooks is on the. I can buy stock in QuickBooks. That's pretty good.
Well, you can. The company that makes them.
Yeah.
They're called
Intuit.
Intuit. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Dude, they have QuickBooks. They're doing
good things, man. I love
TurboTax.
I love doing my taxes on TurboTax.
Yeah, TurboTax.
Mm-hmm.
QuickBooks, and they got they bought Credit Karma.
Oh wow.
Credit Karma, and it's another company. You ever heard of MailChimp?
Yes.
They own them too.
Wow. MailChimp is like email marketing.
Yeah, they bought them too, man. They're a big conglomerate. You know, they call it a conglomerate.
Man, that's something I need to have somebody on the podcast about. Email marketing.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Is that even a thing? Like, still, you know, who reads it?
They still use it, but I don't know.
Yeah, how much does that even bring in?
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I mean, I think people, they still use it, but it's more about, you know, Facebook marketing and
like Google,
YouTube and stuff like that. I heard somebody say one time, what's the best way to help a poor person? Like, don't be one of them. That's it, it makes so much sense.
Yeah. I'm trying to find a better way to explain it for somebody who might not understand the joke.
Oh, kind of like, how you going to help somebody? How you going to give somebody money if you don't have any money?
Okay. Yeah, like you were talking about earlier, if you're a charitable person.
Yeah.
And you have money, you can give to charity.
Yeah, you can give more to charity. The more you have, the more you can give. But if you don't have it, how you going to give it? You know what I'm saying? So it's all about perspective. What's your perspective? How you see something? What's your perspective? Cause me and you, we could see the same thing, but have two different ideas about it.
You familiar with the show Parks and Recreation?
I heard it. I never seen it.
Okay, the guy Nick Offerman, he's the comedian.
Uh-huh.
He's one of the main characters, and he's very he's just a character, and he goes, he's like, I love the saying, give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day. It's like, how about you don't give a man anything and you eat the fish? He's a grown man. Fishing's not that hard.
That's a good one. Hey, I gotta say this though. Speaking of sayings that don't really make sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
I hate when people say, you know this saying? You want your cake and eat it too.
That doesn't make sense. That means absolutely nothing.
That's so stupid. Like, no, it's cake. What
else am I gonna do with it? Actually, I'm trying to think of how that can be applied. I think that might actually be a good saying for people who aren't patient, who want to be involved in the stock market.
What's that?
So they want the cake, which is owning the stock, but they want to eat it, which is reaping the benefits of, like you said, they'll sell it because they've made 5%.
Yeah, that's somebody who's
That's somebody who wants to have their cake and then eat it.
They eat it before it even gets baked. They eating batter.
Yeah,
that's the batter liquors.
They're eating the cookie dough.
Yeah. Yep.
It's not good for you.
Yeah, let it bake out. Let it cook. Yeah.
Man, thank you for doing this with me.
Ain't no problem, man. Anytime.
I'm hoping somebody got something out of this conversation.
Some benefit. Hopefully so. Yeah.
You got anything you wanna plug? Anything you wanna promote?
I got a podcast called The Real Talk with Ryan Richard. And man, I talk about finances. I talk about relationships. I talk about different things like that. It's mostly aimed at people with disabilities, but it's for anybody. But I talk a lot about those type of things. So if anybody's interested, just watch out for the podcast. The Real Talk with Ryan Richard podcast.
All right, man. Funny story about this interview. I actually did it twice because the first time I forgot to hit record. Either way, both of those were fun conversations, and I'm glad I got to share at least one of them with you. So like always, let me know what you think of the show. If you enjoyed this episode, whatever platform you're using to listen to my voice, please leave a rating and a review under my podcast. And if you know anybody who's looking to get into investing in the stock market and they don't know where to start, share this episode with them. There's links for ways you can connect with me in the description. There's also a link to Ryan's podcast. Thanks for sticking around to the end, and we'll talk next time. Bye-bye.